This is Sybert signing into Red Alert 3, and we are going to be on Fire Island with Bob, Johnny as the Blue Soviets, and as the Purple Soviets, it's NodCrawler. Mime as the Orange Soviets. As the Cyan, it's Mr.Bogard. As the Yellow, it is going to be DontWorryBeHappy, and finally, it is Shark Tank, and that is, of course, going to be spelled with lots of numbers and not letters. However, this is, of course, going to be another Soviet FFA. It looks like cranes for lots of people, which with 40k starting, how can you not go a crane opener? And, of course, random crates are turned on as well, and actually it is going to be crane and double crane opener for even NodCrawler, which, of course, is in the wrong game, actually. But I'm kind of curious as to how many other players decide to go double crane. It looks like they may all just be going single crane and then into dual ref at the same time, which is a great move. And just a mirror matchup where really only NodCrawler did anything different. It is going to be a little bit of scouting out for Mime, looking to secure the oil derrick, but then also get some scouts off and maybe even snipe some engineers. While on the north side, it is going to be dual racks, pumping those bears, and is it triple racks? No, it's dual racks into War Factory. Most likely going to be followed up with a super reactor and dual crane for Mr.Bogard, also known as Munq. Forgot to mention this is C9Q9MD going for that dual crane. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see everyone else transition into dual crane after that, and it is going to be following it up with a War Factory, maybe even some double War Factory play by one of these people. However, it is going to be a relatively fast expansion out of Shark Tank. Nothing too unusual there with, 40k starting funds on a map like Magmageddon, but it is going to be mass expansions going down for basically everyone on the north side. Mr.Bogard looking to do a little bit of scouting with his bears, see exactly what C9 is up against, and I'm sure that the positions are also random, so they don't know who they're up against, and hey, even the colors might be random, so it truly is a mystery as to what in the world is actually going on, both for us and also for those involved. Stingray's going to be out for Shark Tank, while they are going to be going for a little bit of harassment, but will they actually be able to do a whole lot versus Mime? Well, that will remain to be seen. Mime actually going to be moving. Oh, actually, I didn't even realize that that's Mime's barracks and also his Tesla coil inside of basically the expansion of Shark Tank, while Shark Tank being chased off to the north side and going to be kind of confronting Don't Worry, while over here it does look like C9 going to be losing a harvester to the NodCrawler Terror Drone, which is always a good move, and Twin Blades out for C9, going to be sniping a bear, not a bad move at all, and the Stingrays are out for for Shark Tank, but also for Mime, not Munq, while Munq on the north side transitioning into Bullfrogs and Terror Drones, not a bad combination. Wouldn't be too surprised to see Hammer Tanks, actually kind of surprised that we haven't already, walling in your super reactor. Goodness, is this Red Alert 2? It may very well be, with how ridiculous this FFA is. This is not a 2v2, this FFA, and it does look like Shark Tank going to be trying to engage this base, but hey, spoiler alert, actually Tesla coils can fire underwater. But it is going to be an extra expansion going down there, so I guess 3 for Shark Tank, while 5 is rocking for Mime, and it is going to be for NodCrawler. Goodness, how many does he actually have? A total of 5 as well. C9 rocking 5, and I do think that Munq may be rocking those 5 as well. Yep, 5 for Munq, and then just those 4 for DontWorryBeHappy. But lots of Terror Drones going to be trying to lock stuff down. C9 rolling in with the Twin Blades. Will he be able to do anything really? He needs to go for the Terror Drone so that he can infect the Bullfrogs with his own Terror Drones, because that would not be a bad situation. Then he can take down the Bullfrogs, rush in with the Twin Blades, and actually C9 will be able to do a fair amount of damage to, oh, that was not actually going to be a cancellation. However, oh, with the Engineer Cap, and the actually going to be, is it dual? Yeah, it's Twin Blade, dual Twin Blade, and then Flak Trooper Engineer Cap drop. So quite a complex strategy going on there from Don't Worry. He will be able to basically completely kick out of this game Mr.Bogard, aka Munq, who will be basically effectively kicked out of this game through a combination of C9 and Don't Worry. So inadvertently kind of teaming up with each other against Munq, and they will be able to clean him out of this game. I'm actually kind of surprised that he's still stayed in this game. Oh, he does have a naval yard out here on the water, which means he's most likely going to be going for that MCV. Might actually be worth it just to sell off all of those buildings and kind of just cede this land to Tanya, or Natasha is out but also cede this land to Don't Worry, but also to C9, because he is not going to be able to do a whole lot. C9 has got just too much stuff here, too many Twin Blades, and he's going to be able to reinforce quite easily, while on the south side, Shark Tank has been getting pushed around a little bit here by Mime, who just aggressively expanded forward, leaving the back expansion to be taken by our purple player, NodCrawler, but also, and even... How do you Tesla coil rush inside of someone's base and not use an MCV? Well, Don't Worry figured out a way to do it, and oh, Flak Troopers inside of the base of C9, but no MiGs are out to deal with that Twin Blade, which means Shark Attack going to be taking damage from those Dreadnoughts, which is very unfortunate for him. He'll probably be kicked out of this game. Willy actually, oh, he has a ton of Akulas. Why are you not engaging? I mean, just line these up and hit F. You'll clear out almost everything. And Stingrays, what you do not want to be doing is slowly engaging, because that is a good way to just end up losing all of your stuff. He's trying to play with some strategy, but I do not know if that's going to be the best situation to be in, and he needs to just take down these Dreadnoughts, clean them out. Shark Tank is going to be possibly getting cleaned up in this game. However, C9 will be taking a little bit of damage there, and it will be Don't Worry who's going to be going on the aggressive side. MCV is out, as well as dropping down that Crusher Crane just for that extra usability and that extra buildability, that extra build queue, I guess would be a better way to put that. However, Dreadnoughts have been cleaned up, so Shark Tank, never mind, has been defeated. I was about to say isn't quite out of it yet, but they are completely out of it. Oh, a pretty darn good engagement there for Don't Worry, getting the perfect angle on those Bullfrogs, cleaning up a couple of Twin Blades without really taking any damages himself. Just a single Harvester. Maybe even we'll be able to run over a couple of these bears. That would be kind of hilarious to see. Nope, it'll just pause right there, get taken out by that Badger Bomber from Natasha. I keep saying Tanya, but that's not quite right. And actually, these V4s, if this V4 doesn't stop moving around, he may actually get cleaned up there by that Terror Drone. However, it is going to be, oh, are you the wrath of the Soviet Air Force? Just mass Twin Blade, because why not? NodCrawler going to be looking to clean up Mime's artillery here. However, on the water, never, ever, ever let someone escape. If you do not see that they have been defeated or left the game, then you do not assume that they are dead. You assume that they're going to show up in 20 minutes and win the game, because that does happen on occasion, not necessarily as often as it doesn't happen, but it does happen sometimes, and it's always great to see. However, Satellite's going to be dropping most likely those purple satellites for NodCrawler, cleaning up basically everything from Mime. So Mime pissed off NodCrawler, but turns out you cannot fight with the strength of Nod inside of Red Alert 3, because Mime is just going to be getting his entire base pretty much handed to him. He doesn't have a whole lot to deal with this, not with the MiGs. Wherever the MiGs are, they're just now turning around. We'll be able to clean up basically everything that Mime has, and just going for the MCV, a good move. While on the north side here, Twin Blades out of C9 are going to be possibly doing a little bit of damage to Mime here, and actually, no, not Mime, but rather to NodCrawler. NodCrawler going to be doing damage to Mime, but he may actually be getting cleaned up here. He's trying to go for individual units, and he's taking actually a huge amount of splash damage there. The stacking on those Twin Blades will cause him to take quite a bit of damage. Wasn't actually able to finish off the MCV until just now, but that Bullfrog is now completely heroic and throwing away more and more MiGs. Not good control out of NodCrawler. However, C9 going to be trying to encroach on the space of Mr.Bogard, and Munq is actually looking to re-expand to the land. Not a good situation to be in when you do not have very much stuff to deal with the incredible power of C9's Air Force, and actually that power can really only be matched by Don't Worry at this point, because Mime was just able to clean up quite a bit of the Air Force from basically the entire Air Force from NodCrawler, and Mime is actually in a solid position, because if you look at this, we got up here, we kind of have Don't Worry and C9. They're the top contenders up here. Munq is technically still in it, but he's not really in it right now, and these two guys are just going to be slamming each other, just punching each other in the face, while over here it's going to be Mime, who just basically cleaned up 90% of the units for NodCrawler, and NodCrawler going to be retaliating with the Dreadnoughts and their crews already. However, if Mime is able to just kind of sit back, relax, macro up a bit, he will maybe be able to just outlast the northern players as they just punch each other in the face, and it's kind of these three powers up here contending really just the two powers, but with dropping those Badger Bombers, those Toxins on top of that, the Desolator L Delta, or Dual Airstrike more likely, the The dual airstrike will most likely be what that was. However, oh, and the Terror Drone getting in on the action, just adding insult to injury and even going to be taking out, but needs to make sure that he doesn't lose an Apocalypse tank. Nearly got infected by a Terror Drone there. However, it is going to be a Kula submarines for Mime, cleaning up basically everything. And by everything, I do mean basically just those 2 Dreadnoughts. And now Mime once again poking the Tiger a little bit there. So NodCrawler, originally he got poked by Mime, and then he slapped Mime in the face, and then Mime slapped him in the face. And suddenly these 2 players have had a pretty good back and forth. However, C9 going to be encroaching in on the base of Don't Worry. Will he be able to hold this off? Massing up Bullfrogs and bringing them to the front line could be a good strategy, but does he have anything to deal with the hammer tanks, but also, in fact, the Tesla troopers, because they will be able to do quite a bit of damage, and sending, oh, a single Kirov. Never a good situation to be in. It's almost like that other Kirov. Oh, I can't even make that joke because I can't remember the name all over again. C9 may be able to actually clean up the majority of the stuff for Don't Worry. Will he be able to do anything? He's off over here, taking a huge amount of damage from the Bullfrogs out of Munq, and he will be able to take down basically all of the Bullfrogs, but he will lose quite a few of these Twin Blades and the Kula submarines, and even the Stingray going to be engaging there. However, Natasha is on the north side, going to be cleaning up some of the stuff for C9. He's desperately trying to micro his way to victory while the Twin Blades do show up, and they will be able to clean up Tanya without too little of a problem. And look at this, going to be trying to even just drop down defenses into his base. No, actually, that is going to be a Mime dropping the first Tesla coil. So while he's distracting NodCrawler over here, he's going to be able to clean up NodCrawler's MCV. No, NodCrawler has shown up to try and... Oh, just kidding, because NodCrawler actually has his own Tesla coil inside of the base of Mime, and suddenly Mime is going to be invaded by the yellow DontWorryBeHappy, who's getting his forces handed to him by C9, and C9 going to be trying to move in on 2 fronts, dealing with Don't Worry on the north side, but then also trying to deal with Don't Worry's base, while on the other side it is going to be these Dreadnoughts tearing apart the base of NodCrawler. So Mime going to be getting taken out, getting his base taken out pretty much. Actually, no, it is going to be purple versus yellow with these, with a couple of these power plants. I'm guessing that was just a random engineer cap, or no, it will be an MCV up there for Don't Worry, trying to escape the wrath of C9. While on the other hand, it is going to be NodCrawler, whose actual Apocalypse tank, that is Heroic Apocalypse tank, going to be incredibly powerful. However, oh, with the clutch Tesla coil placement inside of basically the expansion of Don't Worry. Somehow Munq's still in this game, selling off a couple of buildings. Not a good situation to be in. Is it going to be a fire sale? But over here it is going to be more Dreadnoughts trying to engage Twin Blades. Pretty good versus Dreadnoughts. C9 going to be moving in on Don't Worry's base. Don't Worry, does he actually have anything to deal with this? His MCV is in the... Oh no, it's getting cleaned up by our NodCrawler. And actually, does he actually have an extra crane to survive? I think he's only got this one here, which means as soon as that goes down, he will not have a build queue. And if he does not have a War Factory, which he will not, once C9 rolls over all of his stuff, he will basically be out of the game. Oh, just kidding. This is a square of Bullfrogs, not actually a building. C9 says, you know what, I'm going to take the time to even destroy your walls. That is how much I do not like you, Don't Worry. He needs to just move in here and absolutely crush Don't Worry, kick him out of the game, because at this point, he's basically out of it. Although, no. Let's not say that. The War Factory is going down if it is able to finish. I mean, well, look at this. Munq is still in this game. Hardly, albeit, but he is technically in this game. How in the world did these Bullfrogs actually get up here? They just sort of, like, there's his base over here. They're up here, and then there's a whole bunch of units that want to kill them right there. MiGs going down to those Bullfrogs, but also the MCV going down. I do believe that was NodCrawler's MCV. However, Mime doesn't have a whole lot left, and NodCrawler is a little bit pissed. He's going to be going for the Apocalypse tank and looking to clean up some of the buildings from Mime, but also the Tesla coil from Don't Worry is going to be getting in on the action a little bit there. And C9, who is going to be a little bit of a completionist there and trying to just clean up the stuff from Munq. And on the other hand, it is going to be Don't Worry trying to expand to the base of Shark Tank, who has been gone out of this game for a couple of minutes there, throwing away a couple of more Twin Blades, trying to kill these last Bullfrogs so he can continue to do damage to Munq. But Munq, does he actually have anything left? Where is his MCV is a better question. I think it did get taken out. He did have to rebuild it, and then he did only lose it later. which is unfortunately too bad for him. And the Terror Drone will be able to just kind of lock down this single Apocalypse tank, while over here Mime is going to be getting infected by an additional Terror Drone in that Akula submarine, so that is very unfortunate for him, and that is going to be the most awesome Terror Drone ever. He's like, yeah, I killed an Apocalypse tank, no big deal, guys. I don't see what the problem is. Why can't you do the same? And still not out of this game. Munq trying desperately to survive on just this one base play. He's got 10 grand left inside of that ore mine, but C9 has turned his sights on another, and he's probably looking to capture that oil derrick. There's not actually going to be an engineer in adequate range of that oil derrick to warrant it still being alive. However, trying to desperately rebuild walls, but also rebuild defenses. That is what Don't Worry is trying to do. Will it actually work out? He's actually moved his bullfrogs a little bit closer to the edge of the map there, just to make them a bit safer. I could understand if it was an MCV. C9 looking to grab that oil derrick with a barracks as well. And it kind of sucks that you can't just, like, self-destruct oil derricks. That would actually be kind of great, although completely useless, because why would you actually have that? It would just be one of those, like, yeah, I don't want you to kill it, so I get an insta-kill button. Really, I just want to watch this stuff explode, and that's about it. However, Mime has been pushed almost entirely off the land, which means he's only rocking that 2 base, but only really 1 harvester. He doesn't actually have enough money to rebuild that second harvester, while C9 going to be able to clean up some more stuff from Munq. And Munq, will he just get completely eliminated in this run of Twin Blades, or will he be able to still hang on somehow, some way? And Dreadnought and her crew firing those missiles off at the small and basically non-existent base of Munq, who's desperately been holding on for these last couple of minutes. While it does look like Don't Worry, he's got his contingency of bullfrogs, and that is really about it. He's got his MCV rolling around somewhere. It is going to be down here. He is rolling with that dual crane, 1 on his base, 1 out at sea. So that's, I guess that would be 2 lanterns, or maybe that's 3 lanterns in the window, because it's land and sea. And yeah, American history jokes are pretty cool, I'm told. Kirov going to be popping out for Mime somehow. He's still trying to make this Kirov play work. However, versus the ridiculous Air Force, which actually there aren't quite as many MiGs, at least not out on the platforms. I don't actually see too many more MiGs out for NodCrawler, but he will be trying to do some more damage there. And oh, look at that. Munq just going to be canceling that, because he knows, why would he even waste the money trying to finish it when it'll just get cleaned up by Twin Blades? I really don't know what C9 is waiting for. He could just sort of pull in here and just take down everything that Munq has. Munq trying to get up another naval yard. Does he actually have the economy to support getting out another MCV? I don't know. I don't even know if it's worth mentioning at this point. And oh, the mass bullfrog, if they could actually only do damage. They're actually worse at killing ground units than harvesters are. Harvesters can at least crush and, of course, sometimes even transform, but C9 will be able to get out a Natasha, not a Tanya in any way, and mass hammer tank. You'd think that he's just in some sort of his own game, just building a ton of hammer tanks and having a good old time. However, in combination with a single Akula submarine, but also I'm assuming this is the orbital dump or whatever the super satellite drop is, we'll be able to clean up some stuff from NodCrawler and just mass bullfrog. I thought it was actually something important going on, but it will be just mass bullfrog. But also V4s are now out, and actually the best type of V4, a hammer tank V4, which is an absolutely awesome sort of V4, but also an awesome sort of hammer tank. And oh, C9 going to be trying to throw away that Kirov airship. Of course, he's got the vacuum imploder and the Iron Curtain right next to each other, so that if you lose one, then it's really easy to lose the other one. And really, the only thing that Munq has going for him is this naval yard, and he's just going to be producing units. He even lost his refinery, and he just can't really do anything about it. C9 has just got so much power and so many units. Can anyone really stop him at this point? Well, they would have to basically start typing in the chat, hey, everybody, let's go kill C9, and even Munq could get in on that action. Of course, that would be difficult to arrange just because your units would auto-fire on each other, even though you're trying to set up a temporary arrangement, an unholy agreement amongst gamers to crush C9, which is sometimes just what you need to do. Sometimes such an agreement is warranted, and this will be it for Munq. I don't think he has anything else. Yes, that is going to be Mr.Bogard out of this game. but also a single terror drone, just random terror drones cleaning up stuff in a crazy FFA. But 2 minutes are going to be left, so I think, I don't even know if C9 ran around the map and just cleaned out everything, if he could do it in under 2 minutes. So we will most likely see that clock count down, and we'll have to see exactly where it decides to get used. And the Iron Curtain hasn't actually been used anywhere, going for those mass Kirovs, 3 of them in total, but supported by MiGs, 4 of them in total, actually, with a 5th moving in from the north, and 2 of them have been taken down already. A 3rd may very well go down, however, not the MiGs. The MiGs aren't actually engaging, and that one Kirov will actually manage to escape there, and just bombing everything out of NodCrawler's base. There will be nothing left in that base. He will have bombed even the dirt out of that base by the time that C9 actually leaves. And oh, what brave bullfrogs are these? What daring men are they who are just gallantly, effectively doing really not a whole lot, because as soon as the twin blades roll in, they'll be able to just clean up those bullfrogs. Absolutely no problem. However, did get a fully heroic bullfrog, which they basically at that point have giant machine guns that shoot really heavy shells, and just, oh, here come the twin blades, and the humanity is gone from this game as C9 brutally and mercilessly murders everything that NodCrawler actually has to offer. So go back to CNC 4. You do not belong in Red Alert 3. You belong in CNC 4. NodCrawler, that is the silliest thing I ever heard of in a Red Alert game. However, going to be taking out the super reactor, even with the Akula submarines, not even going to be bothering, doing a little bit of damage with the twin blades. Of course, with air units and super reactors, you have to pull them back at the last moment so that you don't lose them all, because that is never a good situation to be in. C9 needs to make sure that he's actually keeping an eye on those terror drones so that he doesn't lose too many tanks. Oh, wait, why would that even matter? Because he's got a bajillion tanks anyways, and he will be able to most likely clean up the rest of this map. And I mean, just look at it. He's got basically half the map at this point, and really the only one with any sort of army is, I guess it's actually going to be Don't Worry, because he is not worrying, he's just being happy, and he's managed to secure all of his bullfrogs, pretty much traverses them, has them traverse across the land, rather, and somehow Mime is going to be still in this game, not actually going to be able to withstand the incredible army from C9 for very long. C9 moving out with mass Akula submarine, couple of that with a whole bunch of twin blades, and Natasha, hammer tanks, V4s, bullfrogs, bears, basically everything in the book. I think he went through the manual and just double-checked to make sure that he had at least 24 of everything, because in this situation, you might as well build a dozen and a half of absolutely everything, even though a dozen and a half isn't actually 24. That's 18. I could have just said 2 dozen. Akula sub's going to be cleaning up most of the stuff for Don't Worry. Don't Worry going to be sending it up as MCV, and oh, I missed the vacuum imploder. Where is it actually? I have actually no idea, so stay tuned, and we'll go ahead and see what that was all about. And I was specifically supposed to see that vacuum imploder, but I actually have no idea where it was. We'll go ahead and take another look at that at another time. However, C9 going to be able to just, I'm assuming, steamroll the rest of this match. And, yeah, not a whole lot else is going to be going on. Don't Worry, will get cleaned up. He's got a couple of buildings left. I think that reactor was not it. Oh, yeah, he's got an MCV on the south side, while over here it is going to be a terror drone, not actually a building. And that is it. NodCrawler has been defeated. Mime and also Don't Worry will follow suit. But no, that's actually not a reactor, because, you know, going for Crusher Crane when you're this far behind is just a good move to make no matter what. And the Twin Blade's actually going to be leaving that reactor. Might as well just take it out at this point. C9 going to be just rolling in, closing in ever closer on Don't Worry's few remaining buildings. And actually there's even a reactor up here trying to clean up all of those walls as well. And is he actually firing those V4 rockets at it? It looked like he was. Cleaning up basically everything, leaving really nothing to be safe. To be safe from the power of C9, and even in their darkest hour, Mime and Don't Worry cannot join together in brotherhood and Soviet honor against the might of C9. They're actually going to be killing each other, trying to make something happen. And oh, even the magnetic singularity going down, and the triple Badger bomber. So I believe that's a Delta airstrike going to be going down. and actually somehow still with a single reactor that C9 has managed to miss, and somehow Don't Worry is in this game. I wonder if he'll be able to make a comeback with his single reactor army, although MiG's going to be able to clean up quite a considerable number of Twin Blades if their Twin Blades hadn't moved, but the MiGs will give chase and might be able to take out a couple of more Twin Blades before the MiGs of C9 roll up, and they are super vent because they are super awesome. Don't Worry has been defeated. He's going to be selling off his last, I almost said refiner, but it was a reactor instead. And now Mime, basically the jaws of death is what this is from C9, not even the jaws of life. He has really no choice or chance at any point in this game. Not at any point. He had a chance in the beginning, but at any point in the past, like, 20 minutes has he had a chance in this game versus just the ridiculousness of C9. And C9, you gotta hand it to him, he knows how to macro out of control in these FFAs, and he will be able to clean up the rest of Mime's stuff, and Mime really has nothing that he can do. We'll just sort of watch as the slow but sure destruction of C9's calculating and cold army. He's just taking down the walls, taking out literally everything that he can, although I'm kind of surprised that there are a couple of more dots on the map. I'm curious, though, whether it's going to be a Tesla coil, so not technically or literally everything, but the rest of the stuff will be going down for Mime. C9 going to be able to clean up the rest of this base. Even the veteran Kirov going to be fully heroic, getting in on the action, and look at that. Even the Iron Curtain does go down, but we'll go ahead and after this finishes up, take a look at, that's the last buildings for Mime has been defeated, C9 being the victor in this game, or Bob Johnny, as he is also known. We'll go ahead and take a look at that super weapon footage. So that's what you apparently missed. However, let's take a quick look at that resources graph, just see who was able to dominate. Well, it was actually C9 the entire time, which I was hoping to see a little bit more variation in there, but it was pretty much like whoever lasted the long was basically in that position from the beginning of the game, from the get-go. And that will do it for this game. This is Sybert signing out.